Hello, how are you? I hope you are all doing well. So today I will share with you how my first trimester of pregnancy has been. I will make a video explaining how this happened and answering those of you who have always asked me if it was a planned pregnancy or not. I'm working on that, don't worry. But today I will share with you my pregnancy journey until now. So once we found out that I was pregnant, it was a mix of feelings, fear and happiness, excitement and nervousness, all together. Physically, I was feeling anything specific at the very beginning, but around 2 weeks after I found out that I was pregnant, I started to wake up during the night with too much pain. I read that some kind of pain was normal, and normally it was the case, like very similar with menstrual cramps. But on a few nights I started to wake up with so much pain, the kind of pain that made me cry, the kind of pain that made me sit in bed and do faces and faces until it disappeared. And as this strong pain was continuing for days, we decided to go to hospital. It's our first pregnancy, and so I didn't know what was normal and what wasn't normal. And the strong pain is never a good thing. And so we decided to go to hospital and check. Once we arrived there, after waiting at least an hour to be triaged, the woman called my name and I went. She asked me what I was feeling and I told her everything, including my history of polycystic ovaries. Then she said, "Have you bleed?" I answered, no, just strong pain, which is normally more to the right side. Then she said, "You have a high risk of having an ectopic pregnancy because you have polycystic ovaries and strong pain without blood. So please don't drink or eat anything because you might need to go to surgery today." So imagine what we were feeling. My first pregnancy, I was so happy, and now I discovered that it might end sooner than I thought, and in a tragic way. I started to cry as soon as she finished her sentence. Then we sat down and waited for the doctor to call us. It was another hour of waiting. Then he examined me and said exactly the same thing that the first person that saw me said. He did a pregnancy test again to confirm I was pregnant and said that someone would collect me to take blood and he would try to arrange a scan during the day to check the situation. He also recommended that I didn't eat or drink in case I needed to go to surgery. He took my blood and left me the cannula in me in case I needed to go to surgery, as it would make their life easier. It was already hours of waiting and I was exhausted physically and emotionally. They finally called us to go to the gynecology department to try to have a scan. When we arrived there, they said that they didn't have anyone available to do the scan. They even asked us if we could drive us so we could go to another hospital. But at the time we didn't have a car, so we couldn't go. So she examined me, did some other tests and said that probably I wouldn't be able to do the scan and would need to come back the next day. I explained it to her how important to me it would be to be able to see what was going on. I was so nervous with all this and with all the possibilities. And she asked me to wait and she will try to find someone. After some minutes, she appeared again and told us that they found someone to do the scan. We were so happy. We went to the room and started the procedure. It was silent for some minutes, so I asked if it was alright. And she said, "Let me have one more look before we say anything." The anticipation was killing me. After a few minutes, she said, "So, I found your right ovary, but I couldn't find your left ovary. I also found a sac, a gestational sac in your uterus, but it is empty. And for your stage of pregnancy, according with your period, your last period, it shouldn't be empty anymore." According with my period, I was 6 weeks and some days pregnant. She also asked me if it was a regular cycle, so I said wasn't. My cycle normally is longer, it's around 41 days. So she tried to find my ovary again, but it didn't appear. So we gave up looking. And then she said, I cannot confirm that you are having a healthy pregnancy because the sac is empty and we couldn't find your left ovary. So it is still possible to have a pregnancy in a unknown place. Then Stuart asked her, okay, but as her period is long and irregular, according with that, did you saw what is her stage? And she said something like 4 or 5 weeks, which is when the sac is still empty. Then Stuart asked her, so it can be this too, right? An early stage of pregnancy. Then she said, yes, it can be, as her period is not regular, it is possible. I just cannot confirm because I couldn't find the left ovary, and according with her last period, it shouldn't be empty. Then she said that we could do another test to have an idea if my pregnancy was developing well. She said that we could see by measuring the level of hormones in my blood, the level of the HCG hormone. She said, we took your blood today, right? What time was it? And then we said around 1 p.m. So she said, in 48 hours come back and we will take your blood again. If your levels of HCG are less than today, your pregnancy hasn't developed. If your level is less than double, your pregnancy is likely happening in different place than your uterus. But if the level double, then it is a good sign that you are having a healthy pregnancy. So we came back 48 hours later to do the test. She sent us home and said that she would call us when she got the results, but we said no way, we will be here waiting. And she asked me if it was my first pregnancy, and I said yes, and she smiled and changed the color of the form to do a quick test that will take 1 hour to get ready, as the other one will take 3 hours. And then she said, okay, come back in 1 hour. She was really lovely. So we went to the coffee shop there and wait. 1 hour later, we returned there. She called us and we went to the room and she gave us the good news. My level of HCG was exactly double, so it was a very good sign. But she said that we still needed a book another scan for the following week because we needed to confirm that all was right. But then Stuart got COVID and we tried everything so that I didn't get it too. He used a mask all day, he slept in different room. When he was eating, he sat far away from me. We tried everything, but even so, a few days later, I got COVID too. So even though we wanted to check if everything was alright so much, I couldn't go to do this scan because I was with COVID. So I cancelled and rebooked it for 10 days in future. So also this happened. I spent my beginning of my pregnancy with COVID and I wasn't taking any medicine, not even paracetamol. So I spent all days feeling crap without any help. All I did was make some tea with lemon and honey, and that was it. One day my breath was so bad that we called the no-emergency phone to see what to do. They took all my details and symptoms and recommended we call an ambulance. But it took so long to arrive that we cancelled as I started to feel a little better, but it was hard. It was a hard time. So after all this, I healed and I was able to do the scan again, which showed that everything was developing well. Indeed, when I first went to hospital, I was earlier than they thought, and she found all my ovaries and it was all fine, so we could finally breathe. At my first appointment with my midwife, she asked me about my health situation and my parents' health too. So I mentioned that my mom had died when she was giving birth to me because she developed preeclampsia. I found out that it was what killed her last year. I always thought it was heart problem. So due to this, they told me to take aspirin every single day from week 12 until 23 or 30 something, I don't recall. So now I'm taking it to help to avoid preeclampsia, as my mom died from it, which means I have a much strong likelihood to develop it too, unfortunately. But nothing much happened. I didn't feel nauseous, I never vomit, I was all fine. Until one day I was cooking and then I started to kind of feel nauseous, and suddenly I started to faint. I told the steward, I don't think I can cook because I'm kind of feeling nauseous. But before I could finish the sentence, I told him, I think I'm going to faint. And then I fell to the floor. Everything started to seem so far away. My vision was getting clouded. So I crawled onto the hallway and asked the steward to bring the machine to take my pressure, because we have at home. He ran to get it, and I was feeling that I would disappear at any moment. I measured it and my pressure was 60/40, so I knew it was very low. I couldn't see properly anymore, so I asked the steward to call 999. I asked for salt and the steward brought me Pringles. After the third try, he brought salt as I asked it, and then I put some under my tongue and crawled to the window and stood there, getting some air and waiting for the salt to have an effect while the steward was on the phone. They didn't have any ambulance available, and they asked us to be at the hospital in the next hour. We went, and it took almost 5 hours for them to see me. They did lots of exams and everything was okay. She just recommended that I don't stand for too long or sit down for too long or be without eating for more than 3 hours to avoid very crowded places, and that's all. I'm vegetarian for almost 5 years now, I think, and I'm taking vitamins since I discovered my pregnancy. I started taking this one that I'll put on the screen that my friend Ingrid recommended to me, but it has omega-3 from fish, so I took it until I found a vegetarian option. Now I'm taking just the vitamins from this box because we searched a lot and didn't find any vitamin as complete as this one. But instead of the omega from the box, because it came separately, I'm taking these ones that is appearing on the screen, which is vegan and from algae. But now in January I just feel stretching sort of pain and headaches, lots of headaches. I'm eating as healthy as I can, but sometimes I go crazy. But in general my diet is very good, thanks to a steward who likes to cook and prepare amazing healthy meals for me and our growing baby. So this was a summary of my first trimester. It has been full of emotions, but now everything has calmed down, thanks God, and is good. And each day my belly is getting bigger and bigger. I'm now at 80 weeks, but I haven't felt the baby yet. Our next scan will be at week 20 or around it, and I'm excited for it. I hope you all have enjoyed this chat with me. Share your experience here too if you wish. I would love to know more about your experience. Thank you so much for watching this video and see you in the next one. Bye.